Meghan Markle's podcast Archetypes is back with a new look and a new home. Dive into the world of archetypes with Meghan, now available from Lemonada on all platforms for the first time. Lemonada, a media company and podcast network, shared on its official X, formerly known as Twitter account, Tuesday. For the revamp, Archetypes also saw a bit of subtle rebranding during the show's run on Spotify, which saw 12 episodes air in 2022. The logo featured green lettering. This time around, Meghan's art features pink. The Lemonada logo was also added to the new art. Meghan announced a partnership with Lemonada on February the 13th. The podcast keeps the same name, Archetypes with Meghan, and is described as a podcast where we investigate, dissect and subvert the labels that try to hold women back. Never not funny that it's now on something called Lemonada and they tried to spin it like it was better than being on Spotify. The previous 13 episodes of the podcast, dating from August to November 2022, are now available to stream on all platforms. Guests featured in the first season of Archetypes include Serena Williams, Mariah Carey and Paris Hilton, who all explored common stereotypes that hold women back. Harry's wife expects this to take off now because of course the only thing stopping people from listening to a podcast was Spotify. Now that it's been democratised, everyone will listen to it, and she'll be finally vindicated. So Meghan sold rights to stream Archetypes on other platforms, while it's an exclusive product of a contract with Spotify. Meghan's Archetypes podcast about female stereotypes ran for just one series before her lucrative deal with Spotify ended in 2023. Meghan and her husband, Prince Harry, ended their $20 million deal with Spotify, and 3 years after it was signed. A Spotify representative said that the company was shocked that Meghan illegally sold the rights to this podcast to rival platforms. A lawsuit is likely because both parties signed a copyright contract despite their breakup. The reuse of 13 episodes of Archetypes also shows that CEO Bill Simmons' assessment is correct when considering Meghan and Harry as lazy grifters. They've not yet produced a new podcast for Lemonada, so they were forced to sell their old podcast to this media company to keep the deal. And based on Meghan's past performance, it'll be sometime in 2026 or 27 or even years after before she launches new podcasts on Lemonada. Because this time, she doesn't have 28 producers to hold her hand, write her scripts, interview the less important guests, and over-edit the finished product for her. Lemonada doesn't have the resources to fund staff for her. Meghan also only eats what she kills. No upfront funding, and she'll need to bring in her own sponsors, which is where a lot of podcasters' revenue lies. Do you want to once again hear the blatant lies that Meghan Markle told in her first podcast about a fire breaking out at the housing unit, Governor's Mansion, that they were in during their tour of South Africa, and Archie nearly getting hurt, despite not being in the room? For $4.99 you can hear Meghan's bullshit stories again if you didn't already hear it for free on Spotify. Meghan and Prince Harry's production company Archie Audio parted ways with Spotify in June 2023.